Ready?
Yes.
Welcome to What We're Watching Tonight Kids podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Neve.
And I'm Isla.
And I was pointing at Isla when I said that, but Neve went first, but that's fine. Today was our second trilogy.
Yes.
No, sorry, technically our third, because we did Hobbit and we did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we moved on to the Indiana Jones trilogy.
Yes.
We did. It
Not-
was a very good trilogy.
It was, not including
the last
the Crystal
one.
Skull, though.
Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense.
Actually, did you even want to watch the fourth one?
No,
No,
didn't.
you said
No,
it was
you said it
sucks.
was rubbish.
It does suck.
You were like, it has nothing to do with Indiana Jones and it's about aliens and stuff, and we were like, okay
yeah, it's a
then.
bit
That sounds
weird.
a bit strange.
We should probably watch it, but we watched the trilogy, the original
Yeah,
trilogy.
the original trilogy.
So, Raiders of the Lost Ark, originally released 30th of July.
Which year?
30th of July 1981. My 6th birthday it was released, but I never saw it. Temple of Doom, 8th of May,
I like Temple of Doom.
84. And The Last Crusade, 24th of May, 89, which I went to see in the cinema. I remember going, it was back in the day when you used to go to people's birthday parties and you went to the cinema.
I love doing those.
I remember going to see The Last Crusade for somebody's birthday. But yes, right, favourite of the trilogy, Isla.
Temple of Doom.
Nebs.
First one. No, yeah, Temple of Doom's quite good. Yeah, Temple of Doom.
I like it.
Because they got the snake pit and Granny got really, really scared.
Yeah.
No, the snake pit's the first one.
Okay, then I choose the first one.
Where he drops down and he said, I hate snakes.
Yep,
And
that
it's
one.
That one, yeah.
And then
that's
Granny-
Temple of Doom's the one with the banquet.
yes,
Yeah.
where they eat the sheep's brain. Chilled monkey brains.
Or the soup that was
Oh, yeah,
like
the
neon
soup.
green and with eyeballs and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, do you have anything normal like soup? And they bring out the eyeball soup.
It
That was-
looked like it was just like you got highlighters and you got
Glow,
glow sticks and you just cracked the stuff in the middle and you just put that with some eyeballs in it. That was what the soup looked like.
When they had the cobra and it was wrapped around the
Thing, they
knife,
slit it open.
and then they take the knife out and they slit open the cobra and
And
all
all
these
snakes.
babies come out.
That creeped Granny
Okay.
out to the next level.
Yeah, but from a cooking standpoint, that
How
must
would
be
the
quite
snakes be alive?
Yeah, that'd be quite difficult because not only do you have to get a big snake
Mm-hmm.
and cut it open and stuff it with small snakes.
Maybe it was a mum snake and they took all the eggs and put them in an incubator and waited for them to be big enough. And what they did is they put them back in the snake's mum, like sewn her up or something, and then sliced it back open.
That's a lot of work for like
Yeah.
a main cook when you could just actually like have snake soup or something.
Everything's a soup, Dad.
Everything's soup if you try hard enough. But yeah, that's a bit of a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel for the chef that had to cook that meal. I mean, he had to do the chilled monkey brains. So there was probably about 18, 20 people at that dinner.
Mm-hmm.
He had to behead.
A whole
Monkeys.
baboon or something.
Well, you'd have to do like a couple of extra just in case one didn't freeze properly. So, 20 people, that'd be like 22 monkeys he'd have to behead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in case.
One massive snake.
Yeah.
There was all the beetles, because remember the pair of teeth
yeah.
with the beetles.
Oh, they were in their teeth underneath.
Yeah, there was the what else was on that one? There
All
was
I can
the
think-
soup, and then there was the sheep, because remember he pulls the
The eyeball
eyeball
out
and
of
starts.
it.
All I can.
It's like skinned but really badly.
All I
But
can
do-
think about when you said like the Beatles, I actually think of the Beatles just shrunken
What,
again.
John Paul Ringo?
Yeah!
We're gonna serve the Beatles for a. That's a terrible musical crossover. Indiana Jones and the Beatles.
Yeah.
It could work. The Beatles are like.
Talented, and two of them are dead. So it's like it'd just be Indiana Jones, Ringo Starr, and Paul McCartney. Hold on, did you notice that actually? Now that we're going about the food, every time you look at Short Round and Winnie, they're always eating like the most disgusting stuff. Up at the
Indiana
top-
Jones is
Yeah,
just
up
like,
at the top of the table
they're
where
like
it's Indiana
steak.
Jones and the
prince.
Like, they're eating away. Normally, there's none of this weird stuff in front of them. They're having quite
They're like
an
having like 5
No,
course,
but Indiana
like,
Jones
gourmet.
never ate anything. He just sat there and had a plate of something and didn't eat anything. Whereas
We're gonna have to check and see what he actually had in his plate.
Maybe
Would be
he...
funny if you had like a chicken Kiev and they're all having like
just
you
some
know.
roast potatoes and a full roast beef.
yeah, exactly, roast
Oh,
beef
yeah.
and gravy, and he's like, they're getting stuck into like sheep's brains. They must have been at the cheap end of the table.
Yeah.
They'll
What do you think about...
I'm
no,
gonna
baboons
search
would be
up what all the food
expensive.
was on that table.
That'd be expensive.
Well,
Sheep, baboon, snake.
No, because they're in India. They'd probably be quite easy to catch
Well,
at the time.
Still a baboon's that
But
hard
anyway,
to be
that
freezing.
doesn't actually change the fact that you're both wrong.
You like you like the third one, don't you?
No, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark all the way.
That's why I said the first one.
No, you said Temple. You changed to Temple of Doom.
No, I changed the one with the
With
snake
snakes in.
pit.
It's just
That's
okay.
the
That's
first
fine.
one.
The intro is just
Great.
the rolling boulder.
That's a good intro.
Tarantulas all over the guy's back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where he has to swing from each one and he forgets his hat under and he just has to yank it through.
Yep, and the whole like 2 minutes of trying to weigh up the trophy, and that scene where he's trying to switch the bag of sand for the trophy.
He's like,
and it's like, and he thinks he's got it, and then
nah, I just got a rolling stone on you.
and then you've got the big fight with the German soldier in front of the plane.
And then you also have in the pub.
You have the fight in the pub.
There's also the drinking competition in the pub.
Yes, that she wins.
Yeah.
Don't know how long she's been drinking for though. Oh yeah, there's a lot.
She
of
had
glasses.
a lot of shot glasses.
There was a lot of shot glasses at the side of them, so they've been going for a while. What else? There's the everybody likes the bit where he gets hit in the face with the mirror because that really hurts.
Yeah.
That's actually quite good. I did it.
Oh, you find that the best because he got pain, huh?
He got absolutely.
Pain, bruh.
I
Slapped.
think it's just funny the way it works because you don't get mirrors like that anymore which spin over.
Mm-hmm.
And
you
the fact that not as often, you used to get them a lot.
all the time.
But now people have them fixed, or they're like your makeup one. It's got lights in it or stuff like that. That people don't have these big things that spin.
Yeah.
And I think it's just funny the idea that she's trying to clean it on one side and she just automatically turns it and it smacks him in the pus.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one of the best punches when he walks into. So when I did my day's screen combat,
Yeah.
the guy was showing a video of good punches and reactions. So it's not just like the actual punch.
It's how people react to it.
Yeah. So he brought up Harrison Ford and he brought up this punch because there's at least she is absolutely nowhere near him when she punches him, but because
The angle they're shooting at.
yeah, and the sound effects and everything, and it's a really good.
Yeah.
It's a whopper of a punch, but so just out of interest,
Yes.
budgets.
No, not
Okay,
the
just
second.
just one. Okay.
Just one budget.
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Yeah.
That's the first one.
the first one, released in 1981. Do you know what the budget was for it? Now we covered like Artemis Fowl, which came out the other day, 125 million.
I
Avatar
still don't know.
allegedly 400 million.
Probably like 500,000. I think it would be on the cheaper end
I
because
think
it's
because they didn't think it'd go that successful.
500,000.
I'm gonna go with 100,000.
100,000.
Budget. They had to go.
Okay.
500,000.
It was initially refused. The film company wouldn't film it because they
Okay.
wanted 20 million to film it. In 1981, they wanted 20 million. However, they signed, I think it was a 5-picture deal. But the Raiders of the Lost Ark made back 354 million worldwide.
That's really good.
Temple of Doom made back 331, and The Last Crusade made 474 million.
They're really good films.
But they are pretty cool. Last Crusade I kind of like, but it's more like a video game to me. It's whereas the first two I think are proper. I just think the first one's like a proper good action adventure.
I think the first two are really good. I like Temple of Doom because I think it's just super interesting.
The third one.
But the third one is definitely like it is like you're going through a mission and it's like, oh, go to this place and it's like you have to find the clue and it's like, oh my god, we've been stood on the clue the entire time.
I actually like the idea of when the bridge was painted so it looks like you just fall to your death.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
smart. I find that really smart.
Drink from the correct goblet and it's like this small wooden goblet in the background.
Yeah, they were good ideas. They
Yeah.
were sort of good themes on it. Sean Connery's quite funny, like because at the time it was a big deal that Sean Connery was playing his dad because Sean wasn't. I think for at that time he was.
Sean Connery.
Don't start that again.
We have a joke with our family and Granny does a Sean Connery impression. It goes like this: Sean Connery.
Which sounds nothing. Which
If you've
annoys
ever
me.
listened to Sean Connery, it sounds nothing like
Sounds
him.
nothing like him, which annoys me no end. But anyway.
Still goes on.
Yeah, but I think Sean had wanted to get away from doing like action films or something like that. I can't
He
remember.
wanted a good adventure.
But Steven Spielberg managed to persuade him to do it.
Didn't want to be seen as a one-trick pony.
Maybe, but I think his interactions with the other guy, the curator of the museum, Denham Elliott,
Yeah.
are quite funny because the pair of them seem completely and utterly lost and like completely out of their depths for doing like, adventure stuff like that. But no, I'm a big now the big thing that scared me, this petrified. I used to watch the whole film except this bit.
Okay, what one was it?
When the tomb gets opened.
Yes, the face melty bit.
I remember.
I used to find that so.
What part?
So
You know
at the
when
end
the
of
tomb
Raiders,
gets open.
and they open it, and the guy reaches in, there's just dust, and then all the ghosts start to appear, and then there's fire,
And they melt their faces. Who's looking at it?
and everyone that's looking at it, their faces melt.
Yeah.
I remember we were in our old playroom. Where it was downstairs, and I remember you told Granny specifically when it gets to the end of the movie and when they're tied up to the to poles.
Yeah.
Make Isla and Eve stand outside or cover their eyes. So I remember just hearing what's happening but not seeing it until last time we watched it.
Yeah, I think I did.
Because Granny was like, when Granny was like, okay, cover your eyes.
To be fair, I mean, Steven Spielberg's a bit. He gets away with this quite a lot. It's like
melt facing or just like.
Well, no, just with he gets to put a little bit more violence in his films and a little bit more gore. It's like in Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm. Ready Player One's great though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Ready Player One's a PG. Is it?
Yeah,
no,
or it might be a 12.
I thought it was a 12.
Yeah. You have a fake alien chest bursting scene.
Yeah.
And
that was funny.
The bit where they get Chucky and they throw it at the guy and the guy swears. And I was like, I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I didn't really expect that.
There's also the Shining scene.
I love.
There's
the Shining
scene.
scene.
When like the old lady turns Eve, like, and she has that massive knife in her hand, and she starts attacking.
And then there's the elevator with all the blood.
We still haven't seen The Shining.
Yeah.
No, you won't for a while.
I don't want to.
You will one day, but not just yet. Though I do have a hankering to watch it. But yeah, so his stuff and same as Jaws. Jaws is a PG.
Jaws 3 is how bad the shark is. He kind of just like wobbles from side to side.
But the shark in Jaws 1's pretty bad. But it's like the gore and I wouldn't say gore, but there's like buckets of blood and stuff like that. When I watched it, it's like you hadn't seen stuff like that.
Yeah, no one was going to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you watched, what was it? I think it was Carrie was one of them.
Carrie?
Carrie is the story of a girl that she has psychic powers and she's.
Does she play with a Ouija board?
No.
Okay.
And she's bullied by her mum or something like that.
Great.
And she goes to the prom, and it's John Travolta, which I didn't realise. And they say it's pig's blood. They put a big bucket of pig's blood over, and they pour it over. Basically, they bully her for most of the film, and then on her prom night, they do this, and she uses pyrokinesis to burn them all and kill them.
Oh, that's great.
Amazing.
I don't think there's anything particularly bad in it. I mean, you don't you see people on fire, but you don't see them burning. I can't remember. I've not seen it in so long, but like that was a 15 because I think actually that was an 18 because it was bullying. It was like all this kind of thing, and yet the scene where she's covered in blood. I mean, it looks pretty scary, but it's not her blood if you understand.
Yeah.
But Carrie was a.
Oh, that must have stunk. How much pig's blood would they have to get for each scene?
It was probably fake.
Yeah.
It was probably
chucking
fake
it at the
blood.
head.
Oddly enough, if you watch the Scream movies, you find out it's corn syrup they use, not blood.
Yeah, they do use corn. Also, I was
cold corn syrup.
Behind the thing.
Yes, not warm.
Not boiling hot because you need to melt it.
I just remembered. I was watching a backstage of Pirates of the Caribbean, and the scene where his heart gets cut out, they had to do it so many times to make the perfect effect. Every time they did it, it would have to be hot, because you'd have to reheat it and reheat it.
Because corn syrup goes becomes
hards.
solid, it becomes hard.
really
Does it?
fast. So they
Yeah.
had to reheat it and reheat
Like
it.
it will,
So
but
he
it will
had a
make it will
mark.
make like a crystallized skin on top,
Yeah.
Ah.
and so it will then like because once you get it in like an airtight container, it's fine, but once you like add air to it, it will start to crystallize.
Yeah.
So you need to heat it up, then let it cool for like the desired. So if you want really runny blood that like drips down a wall or something,
You need
then you would use it quite hot. But if you
Okay.
want like a thicker blood, you need to stir it a lot so it doesn't crystallize, and then you can use it.
I remember Orlando Bloom in an interview, he was like that it was so hot he just gradually got used to how hot this corn syrup would be.
When they cut out Orlando
Yeah.
Bloom's heart.
Yeah.
I can't remember there being a lot of blood in that scene.
On his chest a bit, but then when he officially becomes Davy Jones, it all just kind of sucks up.
Okay.
Okay, back to Indiana Jones.
Back to Indiana Jones. I didn't actually know that about corn syrup. I thought corn syrup was just like
A liquid
Yeah.
all the time.
yeah, liquid all the
Oh my god,
time.
imagine if they use oobleck.
What's oobleck?
Oobleck is
It's
a solid
corn-
and a liquid. If you hit it hard...
There's the chemical reason of that is it's cornstarch
Two-
mixed with water.
Oh,
Two-thirds
yeah.
Because of how
cornstarch,
the
one...
cornstarch layers with its how the molecules are made. They're made in like a zigzag.
Yeah.
So they layer on top of each other really, really easily. So when you punch it or like you put pressure, you're squishing those layers together, making it
And
a
it's
solid.
Oh,
But
okay.
because there's water in it, after you've done that, they expand and it becomes a liquid again.
So there was a thing, you could grab it and mold it into a ball and chuck it out something and it would make an act if you
They're
had
thinking
enough
about
pressures.
putting that in military armor because it's for the most part bulletproof. Because the harder the pressure is, the harder it becomes. So they're thinking about putting it into like chest plates and arm plates, but you couldn't put it in like your elbow or your knees because if you put it there and you
And
go
you
to do
bend
that,
your
it's
arm,
gonna
it would-
stop.
Yeah.
So they're thinking about putting it into like armor
Uh-huh.
so that it is more bulletproof.
Okay.
But
There you
it's
go.
heavy.
That's an educational thing for you there, film fans. If you're going out protesting and rioting, cover yourself in cornstarch and water. And
2
your bullet-
parts cornstarch, 1 part water, and that's your life saved. Just dunk it.
No, because you need to keep it contained.
You
In
could
a
walk
way,
around
true.
in like
You
a
just
bath.
walk
You could
around
have a
and just do black.
You could have wheels in a bathtub and scoot yourself down like
I don't think you'd be like a pressing issue, what's it, a protest if you were sitting
Black Lives
in a bath,
Matter in a
in a bathtub. Yeah.
Is the filming of the Indiana Jones movie still good to this day, or is it kind of a bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sucky.
it's
Yeah.
still good.
It's still.
It's still
Well, I mean, I think I noticed it more with the third one, which I think you pointed out.
Yeah.
Is that there's this scene where they go down to the sewers and
it's
they
petrol
break in. It's all petrol, and yet they're still
and
standing
oils
there
and stuff.
with
A
a
torch.
torch.
And because petrol
It's
can become a
flammable.
gas
Uh-huh.
if it's warm enough, and probably your sewers
kill
are
you.
quite warm.
Well, they were in Venice, and it was always sunny weather, so they
Yeah,
probably
so
Yeah,
that
it
gas
was
would
quite-
have killed them as soon as they walked in. It
No,
should've-
not even when they walked in, because you can smell petrol. Like when
Yeah.
when you're at like a petrol station, like you
Yeah.
smell it.
Mm.
But it's more flammable as a gas than it is as a liquid.
Liquid.
So as soon as they light that, the whole thing would have
Would have gone.
blown up because
Yeah.
there isn't.
And then not only that,
But when
at the end of that scene,
when it gets flooded,
yeah,
they go under the casket. Yet they still have the torch.
they still have
under
the torch
the
under the
casket.
casket.
But
So
also, why would
managed
you
to
go
go-
in the water? It's petrol.
Yeah,
like, if you put
Am
your
I-
face into petrol and come up and open your eyes,
you're gonna
You're-
burn.
you're gonna
You're
get
gonna burn.
burns on your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you've got a torch right next to you.
Yeah. And then on top of that,
that
yeah.
would suck. Also, all the rats are there. That's like got some real. That's gonna have like some
Yeah,
a
but
lot
it's
of
just-
infections
And
in
then
that.
and then just after that, so Indy swims away and leaves the woman under the casket. He comes back and he says, "I found a way out." Okay. They both swim away. Cut to a cafe on the piazza outside of the library where they
Yeah.
were. They just climb out
Of the sewers.
of the sewer. Now there should be like a 40-foot high column of fire. Like
Coming out at them.
there
yeah.
should be something coming out there.
Or
All
like
the-
loads of smoke or something.
Yeah.
Or gas.
all the oxygen, all the air, and all the flames that were down in that sewer had to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, you didn't even see the library behind them just like atomized in a huge. But that was, I think if you nitpicked at all of them, you'd find problems. However,
a lot of problems.
That was the
like
biggest
the heirloom that was destroyed.
What heirloom?
You know how they were in? He was Indiana Jones and his dad. And this is in the third one.
Yeah.
And they were in that. Is it called an heirloom?
No, the hot air balloon.
That wasn't a hot air balloon. It's like that white
blimp.
thing. The blimp.
Yeah. Well, back then they were called airships. Airships.
blimps.
That blew up. They
No,
didn't
it
make
didn't.
another
No,
one.
It didn't blow up.
Germany did.
No, that wasn't. You're thinking of the Hindenburg. That wasn't the only one. There was lots of them.
Well, I only know
But
that one.
the Hindenburg was the last one because.
Blimps are an endangered species.
Well, no. Well, back then they used to fill them with helium, and helium was highly flammable. That's why it
Yeah.
absolutely. Whereas they now fill them with. They're now better built, but yeah, they're not that big. But anyway, yeah. So that's the problem. The third one has more small, obvious
Mistakes.
plot holes. Whereas you look at Raiders probably has plot holes in it as well.
But they're not as.
But they're not as obvious.
If you watched Lord of the Rings, there's a character called Gimli. Gimli. And I didn't know this because he looks really, really pale in Lord of the Rings. He is in the first movie.
He's
In
Sala.
each movie, Sala. He meets him in India with his family.
Oh, the stupid British one as well. The one, in the Temple of Doom. The one that's going around, or it might be the last. Might actually be the first one. The one that goes to India and is like, oh, we better go this way and we better talk to these people. Or is it just me who remembers him?
I think it's just you. No, that's the Denham Elliott. He's the museum. So yeah, in the first one, he's the one that sits with Indiana Jones and gets him the deal to go to find the Lost Ark. And he's not in the second one. He's in the third one because he goes with Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones sends him the diary, the Dad's Grail diary, and he brings it with him, remember?
Oh, and his dad is so
problem.
annoyed. His dad's like, do you really think my son would bring
Yeah.
my life diary to this place?
Yeah,
and he
like,
looks at him like,
he said, "Did."
you didn't bring my diary.
Yes,
You did?
Oh no, he says he gave it to Marcus, and he's like, you'll never find Marcus. He
blends.
knows 20 languages. He knows all the cultures. He blends in, and then it cuts to him, and he's like, excuse me, do you speak English? I'm trying to get to the consulate, and it's very
stupid. He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
I like
I
liked him and the dad's dynamic because they're both kind of like completely lost. They're academics. They're not adventurers. Whereas Indy's the adventurer. He's not
academic.
He's not as.
He's like a doer and not a thinker, and then his dad's like a thinker and never a doer.
And not a doer.
It's just he just annoyed me so much, and I just found him so annoying. And you're just like, why?
But also,
see, I found Short Round in the second film a bit pointless.
Who is he?
The wee boy that goes with Indy.
Oh yeah.
He drives the car.
Yeah, he was pointless as well.
He was just easy for them because it's like, oh, there's always then someone to drive Indiana around then. Oh, there's always this person who would help Indiana.
To be fair, like the first one is pretty much an Indiana Jones solo movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he has Salah helping him in Cairo, but he's doing pretty much everything else himself when he gets on the U-boat, when he goes to the island, at the intro as well, it's all Indy.
Yeah.
Second film, you've got Short Round and Winnie, but it's implied that Short Round's been with him for a while.
Yeah.
And then third movie, it's like, it's the dad, and then the dad's got Marcus, who's the assistant, so it's like a three-way movie, if you understand.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why I like Raiders. It's like a proper...
Just solo Indiana Jones.
But if you also see this, Indiana Jones, when he's in his school that he teaches, all the girls are Googling at him.
Yes.
And that's what I think it's like. It's kind of like James Bond. All the girls Google James Bond. All the girls Google Indiana Jones.
Google? Who's Google?
Like Googling, like, ooh, he's so hot.
Or gawking.
Oogling.
Ogling.
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 Gawking.
What's gawking?
What would the world be like if Google wasn't called Google, it was called Ogle?
Then everyone would just call it
Ogling.
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 I'm going to ogle you.
Yeah. It would just become normal.
Uh-huh.
It's like how we've decided that lunchfest is different to brunch. Say if lunchfest was invented, then we would just come up with brunch.
Hold on, right, stop. Side topic incoming. Because we were like sleeping later and stuff like that, we decided that breakfast wasn't being had.
And it's too late for brunch.
It's too late for breakfast. It's around about lunchtime, but it's a little bit early for lunch.
But brunch is too fancy. Brunch is like a really fancy thing. You go out, you meet your girlfriends, have champagne for some reason.
Yeah, brunch is like a posh thing.
Yeah.
When you're in the house, though, it's lunch first.
Lunch first.
Because all you're doing is you're having
breakfast at lunch.
Breakfast at lunchtime.
Or lunch at breakfast.
Or lunch at breakfast time. Or leftovers from the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't do brunch in this house or breakfast. We do lunch first, lunch and dinner.
Lunch first, lunch first, lunch and.
Okay, I think that's us for
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Still very, very good.
Yep.
Still.
Thumbs up.
Definitely a thumbs up. I love them.
Thumbs up.
I'd watch them all over and over again. Are we going to watch the fourth one?
Probably not.
Sounds really bad.
You know, there's a fifth one coming out.
Is there?
Yeah. It's supposed to be a fifth one coming out.
Who's supposed to play Indiana Jones?
Still Harrison Ford.
But he's ancient now.
Yeah. See, the thing I don't like about the fourth... So the fourth one, very quickly. So the fourth one, Marion from the first film. Now, bearing in mind that chronologically, it actually goes Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Last Crusade, because Temple of Doom is actually set before.
For some odd and bizarre reason.
Yeah. I think it's to do with... I don't know, it must have had some historical thing. They probably just picked a date out of their head and, it was probably easier for Indiana Jones to get into China before the war rather than during the war, if you understand. I think that's probably why they did that. But anyway, Shia LaBeouf plays Indiana Jones's son. So that was a slight bone of contention. The fact that, you've had all the...
has a son.
Indiana Jones has a son who acts exactly like him, but just isn't into archaeology, but he's like a fighter and stuff like that.
Yeah. So he's like Indiana Jones, if he didn't have a mind, he's kind of just a idiot who runs around with a lasso.
I can't remember any scene. He does a Tarzan rip-off scene.
When he swings to the boat. Oh, wait, no.
No, well, it's kind of like that though. He swings through the jungle and keeps grabbing all these vines and does the
so he's an idiot.
They rely too much on CGI because it was when was it released? Because you're talking about Last Crusade, from Raiders of the Lost Ark to the Last Crusade. You're talking, what's that? 8 years. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was released in 2008, so 89, 99, so nearly 20 years after The Last Crusade.
So he must have been the person who plays Indiana Jones must be making Star Wars?
No, this was way after Star Wars. This is before the current Star Wars ones, because they didn't start till 2015, something like that.
No, I thought it was 2016.
Or maybe. It doesn't matter, it was way before. Anyway, having said that, the budget for it was 185 million, but it took 790 million at the box office, so not great. It's
I bet someone it was
Thor's sister, Hela. She's the villain in it. Kate Blanchett. But anyway, yeah. So she has this crystal skull, which is from an alien, and it's supposed to give like psychic powers and all this kind of thing, but I don't know, it just seems out of time, and they tried to use a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
That didn't look great.
I'm guessing the villain's like, I want it so I can conquer the world. I could be the ruler. I could wage war against like Albania or something.
Well, no, she was it's still set when Indiana Jones was set, so she's still a Nazi.
I want to bomb
So she wants
Britain.
She wants the Nazis to win the war or something like that. But
bomb Britain. I'm gonna attack Australia. I'm gonna do this.
Shut up!
What do you want?
Tax Australia. Bomb Britain.
No,
You're gonna tax Australia. What have the Australians ever done? Oh, attack.
Because Australia was an ally to Great Britain.
Yeah.
So attack Australia.
I was about to say tax Australia. I thought, man, that's really mean. But anyway, so she has to get this crystal skull, and they have to take it to this like hidden valley that no one's ever seen.
But
And I
somehow
think-
Indiana Jones finds her.
Yeah, and I think, as I recall, she puts the crystal skull back on this like crystal skeleton, and there's 4 of them,
Ooh.
and then basically
they come to life.
the whole valley is like a spaceship or something like that, and the spaceship takes off and destroys the valley and everybody in it, and it's just it's the
It's
kids.
just really
Questionable.
The kids are looking at me funny here. A renowned archaeologist, Indiana Jones, teams up with a young man, his son.
What's his son called again?
Young Indiana Jones.
Let's
Let's find cast.
No,
Indy Jr.
Indy Jr. Mutt Williams.
Mutt.
Yep.
Stupid name.
We've got Indiana Jones, Mutt Williams, which is really weird because Karen Allen, who plays the mum and plays Marion in the first film, is Marion Ravenwood. So I don't know why he's Mutt Williams.
Mutt Wood.
Yeah.
But Mutt
why
Wood
is he
sounds.
Why is he not Jones or?
Exactly.
What if it's like a secret name? Like, I'm not going to tell you my real name. You know, I'm going to call myself Mutt.
Mutt
Mutt
Williams.
Williams.
And Kate Blanchett plays Irina Spalko.
Irina Spanko.
That sounds like something you do when you drop your coffee. But yeah, okay, so
If you drop
First-
your coffee.
Marina or Spalko?
Spalko sounds like the sound it makes when it hits the floor. It's
No.
like, I dropped my cup. Spalko.
Or it's like,
Okay,
if
so-
you're trying to impress a guy, you drop your thing off the table. You, do
drop
the
your thing,
there. You drop like say
like
your
your boobs. Trying to impress a guy, you drop your boobs off the table.
No, you're like, I'm this is in my mind. You're at an office and you drop your notebook and you do the Arena Splanko. So you like bend over and you're like, oh, sorry, I dropped my notebook.
And what? You see cleavage nibbies.
No, or like
Yeah.
So basically, you're just whapping your boobies on the table, is what you're trying to do. You're such a hussy. That is shocking nibbies. Alright, on that.
I'm thinking of like on my soap operas I watch.
You watch a lot of weird soap operas. I'm going to have to see what these are that you watch. They're filthy.
No, they have something to do with boobs.
And they all have something to do with
They
boobs,
have
actually, yeah.
nothing to do with boobs.
I might start watching these if they're all like filled with boobies.
They've got nothing
Dad,
to do with
what?
boobs.
you have a wife.
I know. She has boobies too.
Oh, God.
Okay, so Indiana Jones, still awesome films. It's definitely a trilogy, not a quadrology. We might
Quadrology.
well, it's 4 films, a quadrology.
Yeah.
It sounds really smart.
We might watch the 5th one, which would make it a
Pan trilogy.
no, a pentology.
Pen trilogy.
No, it's not a pen
It's not
trilogy.
Pen Trilogy.
Pen trilogy.
It's not.
It's
Because
not.
Ice Age is a pan trilogy.
But that's got
No.
6 No,
No, 5 films.
No,
Yes,
it's not.
5 is penta.
1.
Yeah.
Pentagram, so it's a pentology. 4 is
Yeah.
a quadrology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pan
Pentology.
trilogy.
No, it's not a pan. A pan has no. Pan is something you cook eggs in.
It's a pan trilogy.
It's not a pan trilogy because that makes it
Pan
3
No,
plus a frying pan.
no, I got Pan Trilogies. You get it is when you get 3 pantries all together and they start singing. It's a Pan Trilogy.
Pan
Yeah.
trilogy.
That's with palm
Right.
trees.
Indiana Jones, good
Good.
trilogy,
Yes.
bad quadrology.
Yes.
Right, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.